So, self-discipline, the art of doing what you need to do when you need to do it. Now, to some people, the craft of discipline is easy. They just are disciplined naturally. For example, the likes of Jocko Willink, The Rock, Joe Rogan, they all have a natural propensity to be disciplined. But to most people, it is damn hard. I am going to break down the art of self-discipline, how you can stick to your goals and achieve success. And pretty much if you bring it back and look at it from a big picture perspective, it all starts with purpose. Why are you doing what you're doing? You need to know this. You need to know why you have to do what you want to do. If you don't know why you're doing it, why would you do it? But if you know that it means something, you know that it adds up to something, you will do it. Regardless of whether you want to be jacked, build a business, or end world hunger, you need to know your purpose. Now, your purpose can be either your big purpose for your overall life mission, or it can be your small local purpose, which can be something like actually solving the problem of you not being, for example, jacked and you're looking to get jacked. So your short-term purpose is to get jacked and head to the gym and get yoked. So essentially, you need to ask yourself why you want to be disciplined. Why do you actually want to do this? Now, once you've figured out what your short-term or your long-term life mission purpose is, you need a place to direct those efforts of discipline. You need something to strive towards because you need something to be disciplined in doing. So what you want to do then is use this either short-term or long-term purpose to set a goal that is meaningful. Now, the tricky part about setting the goal is that you want it to be big enough to motivate you, but not so big that it's outlandish and not achievable. For example, you're not going to write and publish a best-selling book in 2 weeks. So that goal would be outlandish. But if you wanted to build a business to $10,000 or £10,000 per month in 1 year, that's a good goal. You could definitely do that. So you need to find the balance between big but achievable. Now, the important part is you have essentially got your purpose, and then you've used your purpose to set a direction. Next, you need some clarity, because without clarity, there is no action. For example, if you're walking through a forest and there's loads of fog in the forest and the path is covered in sticks and grass and everything and you can't see the path, you're going to sort of be hesitant and procrastinate in taking that next step because you've no clarity of where to go. So you need to build clarity, you need to move all of the fog away, you need to clear the path. So if you bring that back to the context of being disciplined, you need your overall direction and purpose, which we've already set, to remember why you're doing what you're doing. But you also then need short-term clarity to prevent overwhelm and actually to have something to focus on each day. So what you want to do then is essentially get your direction, your big but achievable goal, and create a plan to achieve it by breaking the goal down into a daily action. Now, those actions you're going to focus on every day. That is your focus point. That is what you do every single day, and over time they will add up and you will achieve your goal. Now, that's one thing. So you have to be disciplined to do those actions every single day. But if you can streamline those actions, it will make taking those actions much easier, to the point where discipline literally becomes second nature and you don't even have to think about it. So how do you do that? Well, essentially you need to build two things. You need to build habits and routines. Now, what habits, what routines you build are really up to you. You can build as many as you want, but I would recommend that you build 3 routines. You build a morning routine, okay, but make sure your morning routine is short, powerful. If your morning routine is longer than 30 minutes, it's too long, okay? You need to get up, you need to prepare yourself for the day, and then you get straight to work. You don't need to be wasting time doing 2-hour morning routines. 30-minute morning routine. You then need a deep work routine, which is essentially what you do in every deep work block to prime yourself to focus. And then you need an evening routine in order to optimize your sleep so that you can be well rested and dominate the next day. Now, there are the 3 routines you need to build. As for habits, I would recommend that you build the actions from your plan into habits. However, with all of this, okay, you have your short-term or long-term purpose, you have your direction, you have your plan, you have your habits and routines. Regardless of how well optimized these are, you are going to face resistance. What is resistance? Well, discipline isn't easy. And it shouldn't be, of course it shouldn't be. But discipline is essentially the craft of facing resistance. So resistance is the block. It's that block you have where you don't want to do what you have to do. Discipline is the craft of facing that resistance and leaning into it. It's the understanding that the more you don't want to do something, the more you need to do it. That is in the context of daily tasks and doing work blocks and etc, etc. And some days you will face more resistance than others. Some days you're going to wake up and discipline is going to be smooth sailing. It's going to be easy. You're going to go through your tasks and complete it with no roadblocks. Other days it's going to feel like there is a 100-foot wall in front of you stopping you from getting to your task. That is where the art of showing up comes into play. On days where you feel like your discipline is low and that you're facing too much resistance, just show up. Read one page, do one set in the gym, write one paragraph. Just show up, do one thing of whatever it is you have to do. Do a really small component of a really small part, because the hardest part of anything that involves discipline is starting. It's that first step, that first hurdle of resistance. So if you can just show up, if you can just sit down, do the work and just do one part of it, you've beaten that biggest hurdle. Now, because you've beaten that biggest hurdle, you will likely still continue. You will likely keep working. So if you decide to read one page, you'll likely read 2, 3, 4. However, if you decide to do one set, you'll likely do a couple of sets. If you can master the art of showing up, you will likely continue doing what you're meant to be doing and be disciplined, because you've beat the first and the biggest hurdle. Now, one thing that can be a game changer for discipline is actually neuroscience manipulation. Now, essentially your biology can be manipulated to benefit you. You can influence your dopamine, your adrenaline, your endorphins, your serotonin, all these hormones and neurotransmitters. You can manipulate them to increase your productivity, your mood, and your performance. You can essentially use them to be more disciplined. So what you want to do is to learn basic neuroscience and then utilize that understanding to get your biology to work for you and help you be disciplined rather than against you. Now, I am not a neuroscience expert. I have done a lot of research into it and I have read a lot of books on it, a lot of studies, watched a lot of podcasts. I do have a video on how you can manipulate your neuroscience to improve your mood, productivity, and performance. So if you want to check that out, you can check that out here. Would also recommend that you read the book Art of Impossible by Stephen Kotler. Fantastic book. Would also recommend that you check out the Huberman Lab podcast by Andrew Huberman. Now, if you follow those 7 steps, okay, if you find your purpose, short or long term, you set a direction, you create clarity, you build habits and routines, you understand that you will face resistance, you master the art of showing up, and you learn how to manipulate your neuroscience, you will master the art of self-discipline. Now, my friends, as always, I have a load of resources in the description below if you want to check them out. Please feel free to do so, and thank you for watching as always. I will see you in the next video.